Hello, and I want to welcome you to another set with Pilates. We're going to learn how to do a blossom. The blossom is used in back dips, chaturanga, cobra, a lot of different moves. And I call it a blossom because I want everybody to think of coming upwards with your motion. A lot of people think of a dip as a downward pull, but you don't actually go downward when you're doing a blossom. We're going to start out by taking our shoulders and dropping onto our backs. After the shoulders are on the back, you're going to actually squeeze them a little bit further backwards so the chest is protruding out forward. Now with that chest forward, I want you to take it and put your hand on it and push it upwards. Now that the hand is helping the chest come upwards, take the hand back down to the sternum and pull that upwards. Go right on down to the belly and pull it upwards. And let's come back down. So let's review just those three. We have the shoulders, the chest, sternum, okay? And then we follow that with the belly, and it's all coming upwards. When you pull each one upwards, it sends the next one back behind it. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is show you how the neck comes into that. With our neck, we take the neck and we just pull it backwards as if you're actually pushing up on each piece of the neck, all the way to the chin. With those coming upwards, you should be looking just straight up. Now, if we apply the neck concept with all the other pieces, that actually turns into the very first piece of our back dip, or a blossom. So let's start out with the shoulders on the back, the chest coming up, sternum coming up, and the belly coming up. Now that you're there in that position, go ahead and take your neck up and your chin up. Come out of that, we do it all in reverse. We have our belly that crunches first, then the sternum sinks in, the chest comes down, the neck comes down, followed by the chin. All of this together come right back into a straight posture. Now this can get really intricate, and if you give me enough time, then I'll show you how you can get in and out of that very quickly and very easily. Let's start again, and this time let's start it from our core. I like most action to happen from the core. When you first learn it, I see a lot of people come from their shoulders, or maybe they'll drop their head first. But if you start everything from the core, then ultimately that'll have the most control, and it'll make the most sense if somebody's leading you into this, if you're trying to get out of the danger somehow, or if you're getting ready to do a backflip or a somersault or a cartwheel. We use this everywhere. Okay, so let's take our belly and elongate it as much as you can. Expand it up high, and now take the sternum and lift it. Chest is lifted, shoulders are then expanded, then the neck comes up, and the chin comes up. Reverse that again with the core, the sternum, the chest, the neck, and the chin. Now that's just a basic idea of this. We want to get even deeper into that, and we're going to bring our hips into it. With your hips, you're going to thrust forward with the hips at the last second of the motion. With the hips thrusted forward, it allows us to pitch even further back. I want you to look at your body kind of like you look at your hand. And we know how to curl our hand very, very well. We, however, don't know how to do that same curl with our body. And that's what we want to do to get an incredible dip. So think of my head being my fingers. Think of my waist being right about my knuckles. And then down at the bottom is where your feet are. We're going to take those knuckles and protrude them out away from you. And you'll notice it takes the head back into a circle. Okay? So with the knuckles going out, the head can drop back. So with my waist coming out, it allows room for my head to drop back. It's almost impossible to take the finger down with the hips right where they are. The knuckle has to move out of the way to create motion for the head to come down. And a lot of people, you'll see them, they'll try to drop the head first with everything else straight. It just doesn't work. So let's try that again from the top, this time focusing more on the hip area. We're going to take those hips forward. Now that they're very, very forward, we're going to lift up a lot on our belly, lift up on our sternum, take the chest, and now you'll notice I'm angled at a 45-degree angle backwards. So when I say upwards on the chest, it's actually at a 45-degree angle backwards that creates my upward direction. Because if I go straight up with my chest, it's going to be that way, which we don't want to do. We want to take it up in the direction as if the body thinks it's just going straight up. Now that that's up, I take my chin and my neck up. But the same concept applies. Since the chest went at a 45-degree angle and it went backwards, now the neck is going to have to go almost at a straight 90-degree angle. So I take it back, and now that allows the chin, since the neck went at a 90-degree angle backwards, it allows the chin to actually drop downwards, and that creates a beautiful blossom. So it's hard for me to talk to you while I do it, so just watch this and try to follow along. We take our hips, our belly, our sternum, our chest. Once you get to the chest, drop those shoulders down behind you. Take the neck and the chin. Come back out of that. Take your belly in, like crunch your abs. Bring your chest back, your chin back, and your shoulders come forward. Now to come out of that in a very safe motion, you can fly out of this very, very quickly. To come out in a very fast motion, I actually want you to take your back and press backwards. Press back with the spine so you can feel every vertebrae. You shouldn't feel just muscles there. You should actually feel the vertebrae pressing backwards. Another way to think about that is take your TVA, your side abs, and crunch them around forward so that it holds that core set and really tight. Because you'll see that you'll vibrate your body as you're doing this. When I get all the way back in the motion, I'm not relaxed back there at all. I'm very tense. I'm holding and controlling my body in each piece of it. So as I get back in the very, very end of it, I come up and I crunch that core set. I crunch that TVA so it's nice and tight. So I come out with a lot of control. Okay, let's do that again. And this time I want you to take your knees. If you wouldn't mind showing my knees on this as I do it. I'm going to have my knees actually coming, pitching forward. And that actually gives me more room. So if you look at the hand again, I said my knuckles here were like my waist. But you'll see we have another set of knuckles underneath of that. So when I bend these knuckles, it allows the head to get down that far. If I bend the next set of knuckles, it bends the head even further, okay? So I bend, and it really curls down. Same thing happens with our body. We bend at the hips, that'll get my head back a little bit, but now when I bend at the knees, that gets me back extremely far, okay? So let's watch that here. We have the hips first. The hips are pitched forward. Then the belly comes up. Then the sternum comes up. Now I like to take the sternum and the knees at the exact same time. Think of it as the belly being the center, and you move things in sets of twos. So first we start with the belly coming forward, and it's the very center. Then every piece off of the belly, you have to take things in pairs. So as the belly comes forward, the hips and the chest go at the same time. Now that the hips go down and forward, the chest is coming up. After those go in opposite directions, now the knees pull down to the ground while the chest goes backwards. Okay? Let's link all of this together. We have belly, hips and chest, even higher, knees, and the top of the chest or the neck, whichever one you want to focus on. And to finish it off even further, we take that all the way to our ankles. The ankles now will come forward. Just like with that hand, the ankles are going to dig even deeper down to allow the head to come all the way down. So the ankles come forward, and with those ankles forward, you now have more motion in your knees. Okay? So I have a pole here I'm going to use, and I welcome you to hold on to something the first few times you do that. We're going to hold on here, and we're going to bend the knees forward, chest, walk that back, and just have a lot of flexion in your body. I don't want that butt to be angled backwards when you do this, so really make sure those hips are as far forward as you can get them. And then we're going to open the shoulders up, take the chin back, and now come up onto the toes. Now your first few times you do this, you might not want to come all the way to the toes, Let's go ahead and reverse our direction. I want you to bend all the way down, touch your toes, just loosen up your back. Coming in that opposite direction, it's going to loosen your back up a lot because we've been crunching it on that side. So just angle downwards there. And let's try that again. Okay, so take a few deep breaths. Hold on to your pole. You might have a bar, sofa, whatever you're using. We're going to bring the knees forward, the hips out, the belly out. Even though the belly is coming forward, you hold it very tight so it has strong core. And you lift the chest up. The knees are still pulling down, our shins are pulling down, and the chest comes in the opposite direction. That alone, I don't need the pole for that. It's just there in case you need it. And then you come up on the toes while the head comes backwards. Okay, I just want you to be able to, I wouldn't say snap, but fall into it and come right back out. Every piece of my body is coming in an up, up, up direction. Okay, let's do that one more time. Come forward and up. Forward even more. Make sure every single piece is there. Bend those knees downward. Put the shoulders onto the back. Drop the head. With the head dropped, I want you to put your hand on your neck and compress that up to the sky. Now what's going to help out your chin even more, think of your eyes trying to find something on the ground behind you. Actually look back there. And come up out of that. It's a great job. This teaches you how to get into a blossom. I don't consider this a dip. You see every single piece of that, we're trying to reach up, 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 up. As I'm talking to you, go ahead and just stretch out your back a little bit more. My back's a little bit tight from that, going in that direction. And it's really good to work everything in twos. So we went back in that direction. Now just do a little bit of hurdle stretches and anything you need to do to work that back out. I'm going to bend down forward for mine. So if you want to get into doing backflips and cartwheels and back dips, anything where you're taking your energy in a vertical backward circle, this is where you want to start with that. Great job, guys.